So now we're going to move on to Impact and AEW. Impact is getting ready for their Sacrifice pay-per-view. I don't know when.
Or we can keep talking about other things instead of Impact and AEW.
Right. Well, Impact was actually a darn good show. Or AEW. So we had the Deaners versus Jake something. They had a tables match. Woo!
That's your opener.
That's your opener. Tables match.
The sad thing is that with Impact has not had, awful... They've done some bad things, but they haven't had awfulness on their show. I just don't think they know how to put a show together.
So I'm going to go on the expert on this one, which is Dad. Dad has said Impact is really good and you should start paying attention to it. And I'm like, Dad, I don't have enough time.
If it was on a channel that I could watch, I would consider it. Because I used to love Impact. And then I loved hating Impact for a decade. He's
watching it while we do the show. So after the match, Jake something gets blindsided by Moose with a huge spear. The self-proclaimed TNA World Champion, the not real belt, says that until he gets his Impact World title, he was promised by Rich Swann, there will be no show tonight. He's just going to beat everybody up. Never seen that happen before on a show. Oh, wait.
Steve's done it a couple times. Yeah. I mean, you know what?
So
at least they're building a monster.
Yeah.
And so far,
Moose is a monster.
The bit that I've seen and the recaps that you've given me,
so
I haven't seen them misplace the idea that they're trying to build this monster.
Oh, yeah. So Scott D'Amore shocks the world when he announces that the TNA World Heavyweight Championship that Moose carries is now a sanctioned title and will be wrestled for by Jake something.
So does that mean that now puts points on the board for
No, because it's not going to last.
Kevin who took Moose?
No.
Okay. We'll discuss that after.
So Trey Miguel, Willie Mack, and Josh Alexander fight Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Black Taurus. No one really cares.
I wish it was Austin Aries. Can you just become Austin Aries? Get this Ace Austin guy out of there.
It's horrible. Sami Callihan once again confronts Trey Miguel. They are slowly building this feud. They haven't actually wrestled each other. There's been some attacks. Hey, how to build a program. I've been telling you for 4 weeks now that this has been happening?
You are, like I said, as much as they... But the problem is here in about 1 or 2 matches, they're just going to shit the bed.
Yeah. So then you have Decay 2.0 because...
Yeah.
They're going to take over wrestling and it all starts with this Black Taurus winning. I don't know what this guy looks like. So Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone do their promo. Havoc and Heaven backwards, as you like to keep pointing out, are struggling as a team.
That's Nevaeh.
So then we get the Impact World Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers, versus Triple XL, Larry and AC Romero. As you can imagine, the Good Brothers connect with the Magic Killer to win.
I mean, the Good Brothers aren't going to lose. They just made fucking toys out of them.
Right.
By the way, the Super 7 AEW toys and stuff that they're working on are really cool looking. I've almost thought about ordering 1 or 2 of them. That they've looked that good.
So that was all just a big setup for Finn Juice, Dave Finley, and Juice Robinson.
You corrected me last week. Yes, I thought it was one guy. I thought it was one guy.
So they're trying to work their way into a match with the Good Brothers.
Excuse me, I apologize if that came up on camera.
Eddie Edwards is set for action against Brian Myers, but Myers isn't dressed to compete. Myers' attorney, Mark Sterling, states that Impact Wrestling is an unsafe and unprofessional working environment.
I mean, yeah, you had a man get shot and murdered.
Remember, he's got the whole eye patch thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like Snake Plissken.
Yeah, and God, man, Eddie Edwards, you want to talk about...
So he wrestled Hernandez.
Okay.
Eddie Edwards defeats Hernandez with the Boston Knee Party, which I do love the name of that.
That's pretty good. Yeah, Boston Knee Party.
Then after the match, despite his best efforts, Brian Myers is told, you will wrestle next week. And Matt Cardona is going to be the guest referee.
Okay. All right.
So they're working together.
Yeah, no, this is... So far, like I said, this program is not sounding awful.
Then we go to the girls. Kimberly and Susan versus Diana Perrazzo and Jordan Grace and Jazz. This is a number 1 contenders match for the Knockout tag team titles.
Yeah, they still have that. Yeah.
Yep. It sounds like, there was a lot of action. There's a lot written. Susan is flattened with a double team front suplex for 2. Jordan breaks the ankle lock attempt from Susan, then connects with a Grace driver to win. So, Jordan, Grace, and Jazz are the number 1 contenders for the knockout tag teams, which is crazy. Okay. And then on the way back, they find out that ODB has been laid out. Or is he just a little drunk?
ODB. You never can tell.
So then the main event for the night is the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, Moose versus Jake something. So all in all, it sounds like this was a pretty solid card.
This sounds like this was an okay card.
So Jake is perched on the towards the end of the match. Jake is perched on the top rope when Moose clobbers him with an elevated drop kick. I would love to have seen
that.
Moose.
Sounds cool.
Followed by a massive suplex. Jake comes up. These are 2 very big boys.
Yes, there's a lot of weight moving right now.
This is the honestly, you could, if you want to envision this match and what these 2 look like, it would be like Braun Strowman versus Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Except for one's what? No, that's good acting.
No, that's
although Moose is more jacked. Like actually, it's more like
it's kind of like Brock.
I was gonna say the new world champion, but Bobby.
He's Scott Steiner big.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a big boy.
Jake comes back with a pop-up power bomb for a near fall. Moose hits back-to-back Uranagis.
Okay.
Followed by a thunderous lights-out spare to win.
Man.
Basically, Moose is like Bobby in this.
Okay.
Moose then delivers a post-match steel chair attack. Rich Swann makes the save. A huge brawl breaks out. On March 13th at Sacrifice, Rich Swann will finally defend the Impact World title against Moose. I don't think it looks good for Swann.
Do you think who's fighting for the heavyweight title in AEW? Is it Moxley and
that would be?
Is it Mox and Omega for the Deathcore match?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was gonna say I don't think they have anybody in play on AEW, but do you think it could be possible that all 3 major promotions at one time could have a black champion?
Interesting.
Like, obviously, I don't think that's ever happened at this point because I don't think would Rock and Booker have been champions around the same time together?
Right. So the problem is, unless we give Shaq the belt,
yeah, I was gonna say
AEW doesn't have.
Yeah,
they don't have main event pushed.
Not at this point.
No.
Yeah.
I can't even think of a.
Unless they brought somebody in. Okay, that was a weird sidebar.
Right. Anyway, so Impact sounds like it was a really good show. Dad gave it like 2 thumbs up. I wish I had more time.
Just the review, it sounds interesting, and I'd like to see that Moose and Jake something match because when you can see 2 guys who are like that do cruiserweight moves, it always makes it interesting, even if they're a little bit slower.
So AEW had a show. The show AEW did not have a peanut butter and ham sandwich.
Really?
They did not. They put everything on the back end.
So
the first match is Moxley versus Ryan Nemeth. Poor Ziggler's brother. This match...
Why is Mox and the curtain jerker?
Because it was just starting... just to get it out of the way. So Moxley beat the hell out of him.
Of course.
This was a 1-star match. It didn't even... it was less than a minute and a half.
Was this the same as when he choked out the caveman?
Basically.
Yeah.
So, basically this was a interview segment with a little match sprinkled in.
So...
After the match...
Yeah.
After the match, he talks about the exploding death match. He's addicted to wrestling and violence. States that if things don't go his way and he explodes, it'll all be worth it. Here's my prediction. He's losing this match.
Yes.
And then he's going to go spend time with his brand new baby.
Yes, he's going to lose this match. Omega's going to kill him because they want to keep Omega on top. And I'm surprised John's even still around at this point, okay?
So is Renee, based on her tweets.
Yes. And for some reason, I don't know why you would want to be in the hospital the exact same time your wife is. I've done it. It's not fun.
Weren't you in the hospital right about the time your child was born? You talked about that a couple shows ago.
I'd have an emergency appendectomy.
And then I thought this was really weird, but it comes back around. So you got Papa Buck and Mama Buck with Young Bucks.
God.
And there's two semi-trucks side by side, and Matt's on one, and the other one's on the other one. And so they're taking pictures with their sons on the big trucks, standing next to their sons. And it's like, oh, cool. Why did I have to see that? Oh, it comes back around. So then we have the second match. Varsity Blondes, Giff Garrison and Pillman get destroyed by Team Taz. Brian Cage and Ricky Starks is back.
That's a combination of the Varsity Club and the Hollywood Blondes.
Yes.
The earlier segment we were talking about.
I wrote, okay, this is where the Blondes are winning. Okay, never mind. Every time
they won a match?
I think they have on Dark.
Because every time we talk about them, when we talk about how great Brian Pillman Jr. is, every time they talk about him on the main show, they lose every match.
Every time I type, oh my gosh, something, as soon as I finish the sentence typing it up, because I type it as I'm watching it, it changes around, so I get tired of that. Cage wins. Cage pins Garrison. 1-star match again, so you have 2 Snickers in a row. A black and white video of a body bag being dragged through the desert with Sting gloves driving. So it just goes to black and you see this black and white video. Very avant-garde.
Didn't they kill somebody in WCW and throw him in the desert? Was that Flair?
Sting then stops the truck and lets him out of the body bag. Very cinematic, very dumb looking. Then it starts snowing.
In the desert?
No, in the arena.
Oh.
And then Sting is dragging a body bag out from the back.
Where did they get a desert from? They're in Florida.
I don't know.
Can someone answer this for me? Is there any deserts?
You're focusing on the wrong part of the dog.
No! Okay.
So...
Did they fly him? Is this on a golf course?
Maybe it is.
With a sand trap, maybe, on Tony Khan's golf course? I imagine there's beaches. Was it a beach? Did they just shoot a beach
maybe it was a green screen.
Okay, anyway, moving on. Apparently it's snowing because
Sting... And I'm pretty sure the truck was the same truck that FTR always drives around.
Oh, God. At least they're not going out and buying a whole new truck.
So Sting drags out a body bag, and in it is...
Darby.
Taz's son. He points to the rafters, and then Darby comes down on a zip line into the ring.
Whoa. Wait. Sting, the 62-year-old uber-Christian family man, just murdered another man's child?
No, he was alive. He was just prisoner.
Oh, so he kidnapped. He kidnapped and savagely abused another man's child.
He wasn't abused. He didn't have a Back from Vacay t-shirt on, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Oh, God.
But,
okay, just get through this shit. Tell me how many points I won.
Plus the Raptors, Darby comes on a zip line and then drops in the ring, and they have to cut away to Sting doing something because Darby's having a hard time getting his suit off. Sting gets a stinger splash and a stinger drop on Cage. It looked actually not bad.
Sting is a natural athlete who can still go.
Then we go to commercial, come back. We have an interview with Kip, Penelope, and Miro.
I just fear that Sting is going to be like his hero, Ric Flair, where it's gotten to the point of just go home, dude.
Right,
go home.
So, have I told you anything that's intrigued you yet? It's going to get worse.
Okay.
So we jump in an interview with Kip, Penelope, and Miro. Miro says this interview is a joke. I said, yeah, we all agree.
I'm so glad that your brass ring and everything.
Miro says that Charles.
I unsubscribed to you on Twitch, by the way, because I was just fucking sick of you.
Charles, come back. I feel no ill will to you. Come back. You can polish my kettlebells. True quote. I'll bring you back. And then in the middle of this, you see this hand a piece of paper to Tony Schiavone. And Tony Schiavone's, I've just got a note. It says, Will you wrestle us? Y, N, or maybe? Please circle answer. Wow. Brandon.
I have no words.
Do you know who Brandon Cutler is?
The name sounds very, very familiar.
I meant to have this up and running. I apologize. Okay, Brandon Cutler.
Oh, why does he seem so familiar? I've seen him.
Okay.
Why?
So
why do I recognize you from somewhere?
So Brandon Cutler comes to the ring. Looks like kind of like Kratos almost. He looks like a dragon. He's actually wearing a dragon head. Kratos, whatever his name is. Kratos. He wrestles Jake Hager.
Tell me Jake kills this man in like 6 seconds.
Okay, starts off with a couple of deadlift German suplexes by Jake.
Cool.
Cutler gets about 15 seconds of offense.
Okay.
And then Jake destroys him.
Good.
It was actually a 2-star match.
How come he's not teamed up with Luchasaurus and they can be weird little...
Right. Oh, that's that's the picture I was looking for right there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how he came out looking.
That's why I recognize him, because I saw that match against Peter Avalon. Brandon Cutler is the fucking dice guy, isn't it? Because that's the TSR Red Dragon head on top of him. You are, aren't you? Just keep going. No, it's this one. Okay, keep going.
All right.
Where is this?
Oh, is this one who drew all the through the right? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the dude who threw the dice.
Okay. So
that's why I know you.
Santana and Ortiz jump Hager, and the Bucks attack Santana and Ortiz. The Bucks call out Jericho and MJF. All back stat. Okay. So after the match, Santana and Ortiz jump Hager.
Yeah.
Then the Bucks come out and jump Hager. The Bucks attack Santana and Ortiz. So then we go to the screen.
There you go.
Yes. Okay.
It's the dice guy.
All right. So the Bucks call Jericho and MJF.
Okay.
Come on, MJF. Come on, Inner Circle. Come get your boys. Whatever.
I thought they were having a weird lovers quarrel with Kenny. Did we forget about this week?
Apparently.
Okay.
Well, not yet. They have other things. So they're backstage with a bloody Papa Buck.
Okay.
So, Jericho and MJF have beaten up Papa Buck.
I saw the stills for this.
And they slam his head into the trucks and smears it on each of the pictures. Oh, why? This is why we took the picture earlier. It was reported
that he wanted to do this.
That he wanted to actually cut himself.
Yes.
But they were like, no, we're just going to use some fake blood. And it was very obviously fake blood.
Yes, which is funny because this comes off the heels of the article that they had about a week ago with Miz, who says the worst thing that happened to him in WWE was the stuff with his dad.
Yeah, I've actually watched Miz TV, and his dad took that shit way over to the back of his head.
Yeah.
So afterwards, they slam Papa Buck into the truck and the Buck pictures. JR says he is appalled and furious of what they're doing.
But not enough to quit.
Next we have Isaiah Cassidy with Money Matt versus Hangman Page. I was like, why? This is the part of their tag team, the Power Trip or whatever it is. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, this match was amazing. This match was great.
Yes, which is why I drafted Hangman Page, because he is good.
Uncle Dave actually gave this 5 stars. I gave it 3. Paige is dominating, of course. Matt does shenanigans.
We'll shoot the difference and say it's 3.5.
Paige was dominating. Matt did shenanigans, got ejected. Some of the Dark Order comes to the side of the ring to cheer on Paige. Stay out of the ring.
Okay.
I wrote, I think I was selling this Isaiah kid short. He ain't bad. Cassidy does this. So, I tried to find the clip and I couldn't do it. But basically, you bring him around back and it's like a backwards pile driver. It is so...
Is it the double underhook drop? where you get the guy, you flip him around, you come down, you drop it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Kinda.
I know what the move that is.
And it's just like, Cassidy then gets. This clip was not anywhere to be found. Cassidy gets snatched out of air from the top rope into a reverse pile driver by Paige.
Who?
It was amazing.
Ooh. Okay.
Paige pins Cassidy. It was amazing. After the match, Hardy says he's going to destroy the Dark Order one at a time, and then he throws 5 off the stage into the table. Whatever.
Okay, that's fine. You know what? Like I said, this is all building to having a match at the compound.
Right. Well, with Hangman Page.
Yes.
Oh, they could do some really good stuff then too.
They
could. So then we go back to Jackoff Marvez. He finds Kenny and the Good Brothers they've got welders out, got a bunch of steel pipe. They're constructing the Moxley Extermination Chamber. Okay. Nyla Rose versus Britt Baker. I wrote, I don't care.
They've buried Britt Baker.
I hate that I'm actually liking this match.
They're trying to resurrect Britt Baker because they buried her.
This was Britt Baker's best match. However, Nyla still pinned her. It was a 2-star match. Uncle Dave gave it 3 3/4 stars.
Of course he did.
I have my own personal feelings about why I don't care for Nyla Rose as a wrestler. Lance Archer versus Rey Fenix is your main event.
We're coming back to this. This is good.
Right, so horrible. They built.
Turn the corner.
Yeah. Archer is swatting Rey out of the air and blocking most of his. Every time Rey jumps, nope. He jumps, nope.
Nice.
He jumps, nope. One time he just Rey was coming out with the crossbody, and Lance just went no, pushed him through the chest and pushed him the other way across the ring. He was just swatting him out of the air. It was great.
You know, which is funny because if you think about it, that would be like your natural reaction
Oh,
is to swat the man out of the air or get the fuck out of the way. Yeah.
There was another really good clip from this that I couldn't find. Fine clip of Rey flipping over Archer. Rey got about 2 minutes of offense in for every 8 minutes that Lance got.
Okay.
Yeah, so the match went 17 and a half minutes. It didn't feel like 17 and a half minutes. It felt like this is a good contest. And Rey gets more offense. We start getting told that TV time is about to expire because main events are.
How long has it been since we've had that?
Yeah, 20 minutes or until TV time expires. Archer wins with 30 seconds left in the show. There were times where it looked like Rey could actually win. There was a couple 2 counts, but I did not like Lance Archer in New Japan. I just didn't. He was bland.
Yeah, and also...
I mean, he was also feuding with Juice Robinson. And he was...
Well, I was going to say, we also had the issue of... We kind of had that weird shift at that point in New Japan where,
too many white boys?
I was going to say, the upper echelon that had set that standard was either on their way out or transitioning people. So, yeah, him having that transition in while all of this was happening and on its way out kind of made it seem like they were just trying to replace that upper tier people that had evacuated the Japanese area.
I had 3.5 stars. Dave had 4.25 stars. I could probably give this go 4 on this. It was a great match. It really was.
Have your main event be a damn good match.
Next week on AEW, it's note to note. Paul White will be there.
Did we didn't talk about this, did we?
We did.
Well, we put it on the page, but we didn't talk about it on the show yet, right?
So we'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Also, next week on the show, FTR with Tully
is
wrestling Jurassic Express.
Yes, I was aware that Tully was going to have it. Apparently, he's been training really hard.
And also, next week on the show, on free TV, Shaq and her
Big bitch,
yeah. Jade,
yeah.
versus Cody and not Brandy. Because she looks just like Brandy.
So, one of the big shocking things that came over the weekend for the AEW is the acquisition of the man formerly known as the Big Slow, Mr. Paul White.
I've heard that he's already turned heel.
I've heard that he already started crying and turned back face. Yes. So
it happens that quick with the man.
So, I mean, it is kind of a heel turn for him to go join AEW for it. And they signed him to a long-term,
in-ring,
multi-year, in-ring, big money, and announcer for their new AEW Dark Part 2 show, or whatever the fuck this thing is called.
I think it's called...
which is something he has never done in his entire life, is to be a commentator. But and as far as I know, his Netflix show isn't being picked up for season 2, correct?
Oh, it got canceled.
So it got canceled. So basically, the Big Show ran out of options at WWE and decided to go cash in and get some of that Tony Khan money, right?
Yes. Well, so he was very vocal at the Legends show that his contract was about up.
Yeah.
And he said, Vince, I want this amount of money. And Vince said, ha 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 ha, good luck, pal. And then AEW said, hey, we'll give it to you.
We'll give it to you, yeah. Which, you know, of course they're going to, because they think this is a big acquisition for them. But is it just me, or is this just becoming a little bit too much TNA-ish of there's just a lot of washed up upper mid-card section talent from WWE that's slowly filtering in. So and the homegrown stuff is going to start getting bitter, and they're going to start getting pissy, and they're going to probably start rolling out.
Well, so his show's going to be Elevation, and it's supposed to feature the nobodies. It's supposed to feature the up-and-coming talent.
So the only reason they want you to tune in the show is because Big Show is going to be on it.
Him and Tony Schiavone are going to be the announcers.
Okay, but again, this is something
Tony
he's never
can
done.
carry him, but...
Like, I don't dislike the Big Show. I'm not saying that...
He seems like an amazing guy.
I'm just trying to get the idea of, if Vince didn't see that money in him, what is the investment that you're getting back from this? Because, I understood why WCW got Mach. Mm-hmm. And I understood why TNA took Kurt Angle, especially at the time period he was at with the trouble he was having.
Right.
Because it's Kurt freaking Angle.
Right.
But what does the Big Show bring to AEW other than, as we talked about when our pal was here, of it's just another wrestling name going to another wrestling company. He's not a big name up here. He's not on any major networks. He's not the hottest thing off the block. Like, you're telling me that who's on fire right now? I don't know. Daniel Bryan. We talked about this as a suggestion. If Daniel Bryan just up and left next week and in 30 days showed up at AEW, that would be big for the wrestling community.
Zelina Vega's supposed to be...
Zelina Vega obviously is going to be there because they want to put a live mic in front of her and let her motherfuck Vince McMahon. Right. And let her do it because fuck Vince McMahon for that.
And then hopefully her husband, I don't care.
Yeah. Is going to come with her at that point for Alistair and stuff. But the question is it just... You're just shuffling wrestlers now.
Yeah.
You're not, and I know I'm making the same argument of Shaq, with it's like, dear God, what are you getting out of Shaq? Well, you are getting a national televised exposure for a person who is on ESPN and has radio shows, and he is talking endorsement deals, and he
is talking about it on his NBA show.
And unlike Hogan, is talking about the fact that he's doing something with AEW, so that is getting it out there a little bit more to the masses, so to speak. Which will go into my revelation of SmackDown.
Okay, so last bit of AEW business. Do you want to see the pay-per-view Revolution?
Do I want to see it?
Well, if you do, but you don't want to, but if you don't really want to pay for a pay-per-view, well, Cinemark theaters are going to be showing the pay-per-view Sunday, March 7th. For $20, you can go to the movie theater and watch this pay-per-view.
If your movie theater is open.
Yeah.
Is our movie theaters open?
It is.
Okay.
The showing on giant screens at select Cinemark locations. Revolution kicks off at 7 p.m. with an hour-long pre-show, followed by the main card. These are the matches that are going to be on the pay-per-view March 7th, which we'll be talking about next week.
Okay.
Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley in an exploding... Actually, we'll go backwards. Miro and Kip Sabian versus Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor. There'll be a Casino Tag Royal match. Nobody cares. Big money match. Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page. Quarter 1. Lance Archer versus to be announced for a championship match opportunity.
Okay.
Face the Revolution ladder match. Cody Rhodes versus Scorpio Sky versus Pentra El Zero versus Lance Archer versus 2 more people. Whoever wins this match gets a future TNT championship match. But Cody Rhodes, didn't he say he would never...
We won't talk about that.
Okay. I guess he's just Triple H'ing it up. Street fight.
He knows what he has to do, okay?
Street fight. Ricky Starks and Brian Cage versus Darby and Sting. Tag team championship match. The Bucks versus the Jerichos.
So there is no showing at a Cinemark near us, and the closest one that I could find looks like it is in Bellevue. In Lincoln Square.
I think that's where we saw that show.
Is that where we saw Mick Foley? And
yeah. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
Mick Foley about put the fucking claw on you?
And then Hiroko Shida versus whoever wins that. And we'll talk. And Kenny Omega versus Jon and Moxley in an exploding match. So, AEW, they actually had a show that made sense. It started off slow and it built and had a great ending.
They just had some schlock wrestling, though.
Yeah, there was... And tonight, or tomorrow night, will be the go-home show for the pay-per-view. It's got a couple good matches already listed.
Yeah. And I'm sure they're going to fuck this up, and they're going to do something stupid like Mox is going to get his face busted open and bleed all over the place because he just has to bleed.
All right, so now let's talk about NXT.